Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michaela, or MK for short. I just have my dogs here breathing pretty loud in the video today, so do not mind the loud breathing. We just went on our walks today. Anyways, today, if you cannot tell by the title, I'm just going to talk about our experience, me hiking for the very first time over in Arizona and Utah. I'm just gonna kind of talk about our experience for each of the things that we did in every single place. So we decided to stay in Vegas because we'd never been before. And so we went from Vegas to go do kind of like our whole little tour. Otherwise we were going to stay in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. But both Steven and I, Steven's my fiance. Hey, leave it. Both Steven and I have been to Scottsdale before, so we were like, well, might as well just go to Vegas. So I will say our Vegas experience was okay. I didn't really enjoy Vegas all that much. I'm not a gambler. And so we went to Zion National Park first, which is in, oh gosh, like I can't even tell you where it's at. So Zion is in Springdale, Utah, which is southern Utah, kind of near the border between Utah and Arizona. Actually, just right at like Vegas, right at Nevada, Arizona, and Utah, like right at those three borders. And so we hit Zion National Park first. We drove from Vegas over to Springdale, and I believe that was about a 3.5-hour drive, if I'm remembering correctly. And so we hiked the canyon overlook. Well, we hiked to the canyon overlook, which is one of the more popular trails to do. And this is my first hike. Like, I have done some hiking before, actually in Seattle, but this was the first time I was going with my fiance alone. It was just the two of us. And so I was a little bit nervous, thinking I wasn't going to be able to go as far as these hikes were, whether they were a few miles or something. I believe this one was about 2.5 miles. I was avoiding anything that said that the hike was gonna take like 3 hours. I was like, we can't do that. There's no way. We're powerlifters. We are not good with cardio. And after that hike, it really turned out that I felt pretty good. I felt pretty confident. I felt like we could definitely have gone a little bit longer and we would have been fine. So I learned pretty quickly, I learned pretty quickly that it wasn't as hard as I thought. Now I will say that first, the beginning of the trail for the canyon overlook is like kind of straight up the canyon. And it's really tiring. I was just like huffing and puffing at the very beginning. The next thing that my fiance really wanted to see, this was more, by the way, I say my fiance because this was more his trip. I never really had any expectations to go to any national parks, so I didn't really know what to expect, and now I'm in love and I want to go back already. So we wanted to see some slot canyons. So he showed me some pictures of what slot canyons are. I'll insert a picture here of like Antelope Canyon or something. That is what we wanted to see. We were really excited to see one, but the slot canyons are on reserves, so like the Navajo land. And so we could not go see some of them because of the pandemic right now, so they're not open. So because of that, we were looking for some slot canyons that we could see without having a tour guide. And there was one that was like called State Line Canyon in Page, Arizona, which is also where the Antelope Canyons are at. And they're beautiful. I would definitely highly recommend to go see the Antelope Canyons and have a tour guide and not do what we did, because we got lost. We got lost in the desert, basically, in Arizona, which was very, very, very scary. We were at just outside of Page, Arizona, and we took these very sketchy directions. I'll insert them on the screen here. to get ourselves to State Line Canyon to see these slot canyons. So this, mind you, this is also after having already hiked at Zion, and so we then drove 2.5-ish hours to get from Springdale, Utah to this Marble Falls, I think is what it was called, or Marble Canyon. It's not Marble Falls, that's a show. It's called Marble Canyon, Arizona. Marble Falls is a show on Disney Channel. The slot canyons are located about 2.5 miles off of the interstate. So we have to take these gravel roads, and these fairly sketchy directions that you can find on Google are actually very accurate. We just didn't follow them right, and we got ourselves down a road that I told my fiance, like, no, this is a road that you need a 4x4 on. We can't turn on it. And we were in a Chevy Malibu, so there was no way we were going to make it down anything that required a 4x4. So we actually take a road that I was very concerned about, and I'm telling him, like, back up, like, we can't be going through here. And he thinks that we can turn around, and so then he ends up turning, and we turn into the sand that was pretty soft and pretty heavy, and we were stuck. So we were stuck technically in the middle of the desert for about 3 hours. My fiance decided to not tell me that we had the abilities to get free curbside assistance through National, which is the car rental where we rented our car from. So we actually tried digging our tires out first before we called the roadside assistance. By the time it was about 4:45, I said to him, my fiance, we need to call roadside assistance because it's going to get dark soon and they're not going to be able to find us because we're just like in the middle of the desert. But anyways, so that was day one essentially of hiking. We did Zion, and then we failed to do the slot canyons. Next morning, we did stay in Page, Arizona that evening, and we wanted to go to Horseshoe Bend the next morning. So we actually went to Horseshoe Bend at 8 a.m. All right, we are headed to Horseshoe Bend today. We are in Page, Arizona, which is where Horseshoe Bend is at. Yesterday, we went to Zion and we went to the canyon overlook. I have some pictures of that I'm going to show, but we are taking the 1 mile trail. It's not a hike necessarily. Well, I guess it is a hike. I don't know. It's not like we're hiking like up anything. It's just a trail to the Horseshoe Bend, which we'll see what that looks like when we get there. Ooh, it's starting to get colder, I think. Yeah. We didn't even go that much higher. Right? We are more elevated. No, we're more elevated over here than we were there. We're not going down. Yeah. No, we're not. Yeah. This is up. You think we're going down right now?
We did, yeah.
No.
Around and down.
Maybe. Then it should be warmer. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I guess.
Look at this slope.
Oh. Wow, it should be warmer, not colder. I guess it's just because we've been uphill.
Different ways of the wind.
Oh, we're in the windward direction. I feel nothing. It's dry as hell here. There's no wind. Ooh. Okay.
See down there?
Okay, it's getting colder and colder. That's it? But is that where we're going?
That's where we're heading, yeah.
And there's something in the center of it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, you can see it right there. Okay, let's turn around. When you look at it on the camera, it actually is easier to see. But when you're looking at it, it's just hard to adjust your eyes with what rock is what. We had plans to drive to Flagstaff, go to the gym, work out, and then try to see some slot canyons in Flagstaff. There were basically none in Flagstaff. There are some, but they didn't look like what we were looking for. They weren't the Antelope slot canyons. So my fiance Steven and I were like, okay, well, we could go back to where we got stuck last night, but we were very scared to. We didn't think we were going to be able to make it, but we knew we could probably follow the directions properly this time and not get ourselves stuck. So we did end up, after Horseshoe Bend, going back to where, following the directions properly down these trails that were, 2.5 miles off of the interstate, to get to that state line slot canyon, because we really wanted to see slot canyons. So we did that. We made it. I personally think the Antelope slot canyons would have been far, 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 far better, much more beautiful, at least from what you can see in pictures. So I really wish we could have gone and done that, but we will try again down the road in the future to go visit those slot canyons, and maybe we'll go in Utah sometime, northern Utah sometime, to go see some more as well. But anyways, it was a very scary experience, and on our way back, the walk back, we ended up going around the rocks because going up them would have been very difficult since it was a steep incline. Coming down them was pretty easy, but we took the sand route, which just, it was like an incline basically of sand all the way back, and so we were just kind of trudging through the sand, and it was very difficult. And I did not gain any weight from this trip because we did a ton of cardio. Like, this took 3 hours to get ourselves to what we thought were the slot canyons, and I don't even know if we had actually seen slot canyons. So we tried. It was a great hike. It was a long hike, and I was freaking out. So then that evening we did drive to Flagstaff. And we just did a small trail over there. I think it was called something Fork. I don't know, not Clear Fork, but something Fork was this trail. Very easy. We were like banking on maybe seeing slot canyons. It didn't happen. We took that trail, came back, and we got back. We drove back to Flagstaff, and then the next morning is when we went to the Grand Canyon. We only got to see some of the overlooks at the Grand Canyon. We didn't get to really do anything other than that. But yeah, the Grand Canyon was beautiful. We really wanted to do some trails at the Grand Canyon. The only thing is a couple of them were closed because of bad weather. So sometimes that happens at the beginning of March, but usually they say that when you go at the very beginning of March for the Grand Canyon, it's kind of the best time and the best weather. So we just kind of got some crappy weather there at the very end of our trips. I had a very great time going to hike for the very first time, even though things were very, very scary at times. I had fun overall. I already want to go back. I definitely know why people enjoy it. You're on your phone less, you're, unplugged from the world, and you're super fun. Definitely have the hiking bug, so I'm really excited to continue to take vacations to go hike and such and be active and be outdoors. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have plans to go hike and be at the Grand Canyon and go to Zion, definitely let me know down below in the comments, because I'd love to hear about it, or hear about your experiences, or hear about your experience as well getting stuck in the middle of the desert. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.